Welcome to Appointment, the podcast dedicated to spreading the word about direct primary care. My name is Jonathan Christopher, and let's get started. My guest today is Dr. Paul Thomas of Plum Health DPC in Detroit, Michigan. He shares with us a little about his inspiration to start a DPC practice. Let's check it out. So today we're joined by Dr. Paul Thomas. He is a physician based out of Detroit, Michigan with Plum Health DPC. I'm excited to have him on. He's probably the reason that I found out about DPC. He's so visible in social media and online. He has a strong understanding of getting the word out using the online strategy. So I'm very impressed. Doctor, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Jonathan. It's a pleasure.
Definitely. And thank you for being on. So I guess I wanted to learn a little bit more, or you could share with the audience a little bit about your backstory and how you came straight out the gate so strong into DPC.
Yeah, so I was looking around in my last year of residency, and I realized that medicine wasn't what I had expected it to be. And I had this creeping feeling that 10 minutes with each patient was not good enough for me and would not lead to a fulfilling life and a fulfilling career. And I knew that I needed to pursue an alternative. So I wrote my own curriculum for a third-year elective in my residency called Direct Primary Care. And I visited two successful practices, one in Denver, one in Wichita, Kansas. And I really came away with the best understanding of how to make direct primary care work in Detroit and Southeast Michigan. And I took a couple business classes after I graduated from residency while working at an urgent care, and then transitioned into my own direct primary care practice.
Nice. And it seems like, I don't know, I get this impression that DPC has a very strong presence in the Midwest. And I don't know why that is, but you guys are doing good over there, and especially Michigan and definitely Kansas.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Midwest is a big region, right? And I think the highest per capita DPC adoption is actually in Kansas, Texas, Maine, Washington State. And Michigan's kind of been a laggard. Florida's big too, but Michigan has been a laggard. We were actually the second practice to start in Michigan, branded as direct primary care, second only to Chad Savage and Your Choice. But it's slowly growing, actually incrementally growing day by day. There's more practices popping up in the region, which is really exciting.
Definitely. So tell me a little bit about your practice, where you located, and what why you decided to set up shop in where you're set up.
Yeah. So, I'm born in Detroit. I went to medical school at Wayne State University School of Medicine. I've lived in Detroit. And, when looking at a place to start my practice, I always wanted to serve an underserved community. So we're actually in Southwest Detroit. We're in a health professional shortage area. And I knew that I was called to practice in an area where there weren't other doctors. When we opened up our practice, we were the only doctor in our neighborhood, right? So that says something about the nature of how underserved this community was. And I wanted to give back because, I've been given a lot through educational resources, through opportunities in Detroit and Southeast Michigan, and it just felt like the right thing to do. And, it powers me forward each day, pushes me because I know the need is so great and about the impact I'm making. It kind of drives me to do better each day.
That's excellent. I'm always a big fan of people that are going back to underserved communities. I spoke to you a little bit about before we recorded how pretty much I have always been working in underserved community as an educator, but now hoping to, once I get out of PA school, well, got to get in first, but once I get out and graduate, I'm hoping to return to that aspect. And that's basically what I saw as on the patient end of things was speaking plainly, and at least in the Virgin Islands, a lot of doctors were coming and going, and it seemed to be that there needed to be more of a strong foothold as far as community building and relationships and holding on to the long-term patient care aspect of things. So, so I'm always a fan of people that are on board with underserved communities.
Yeah, that consistency, being available on a long-term basis, really can make an impact. There's some studies that have come out that have shown that having a relationship with a family doctor decreases mortality, over a long period of time. So I'm with you on that 100%.
Well, definitely. You are quite busy, and you have I know, right? Do you get a chance to sleep any, or no? You've given up on that?
Yeah, I sleep pretty good, but my days are extremely full.
Right, I bet they are. Running the practice. What else you got on the table? I know you're doing several things. I know you travel a lot. I've been watching you speak here and there, and following you on social media. Tell us about. I guess a good place to start would be to tell us about. You wrote a book recently.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wrote a book and it was published 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So exciting, man. Man, it's just this amazing feeling when a document moves from your hard drive, like in a Word document, to something on Amazon that people can buy and interact with and comment on. And so far, the response has been tremendous.
Yes.
But I just looked around at the market and I saw that there wasn't a good tool to simply explain the ethos of direct primary care and what we believe in and what we're working for and why this matters and the impact that we're having. And that just wasn't there in a succinct format. So I wrote the ebook, Direct Primary Care, The Cure for a Broken Healthcare System. It's available on Amazon in ebook and paperback. And it's really short. It's, under 100 pages and just explains the current crisis in our primary care system. It defines direct primary care, and then it gives concrete examples using our practice in Southwest Detroit as that example of how we're making the impact, how we're lowering the cost of medications and labs and providing wholesale services and at-cost imaging and, access and availability for our patients.
Yeah, that's awesome. You got to do what you can to make it as visible as possible using the means and the formats that people are consuming. And, ebooks definitely are one of those things.
Totally. And I think it just raises the level of the visibility of the movement and gives some legitimacy. Like if somebody's wondering, well, what's direct primary care all about? You can go and get an inexpensive, legitimate resource and read about it. It takes, less than an hour, and you kind of understand in a broader sense and in a specific sense how direct primary care works.
Yeah, definitely. And I can, speaking back to relating to what you were commenting on about getting it off the hard drive and up into the, to the people, so they can buy it. My mom actually writes children's stories, so I totally understand. I've seen the whole process of just self-publishing. Did you self-publish, or were you?
I self-published. So, going back to January, I actually wrote the book in under a month.
Oh, nice.
And then I sent it off to some alpha readers, and I did a second draft, and I sent it off to the beta readers and did a final draft. And then, it's a lot of steps in the process. You got to buy the ISBN numbers, the barcodes. You have to design a cover, take photographs, and then you have to get people to endorse you. So, I got endorsements from some of the leaders in the direct primary care movement, the dean of my medical school, a politician, and some, podcasters, et cetera. Yeah. So all that takes time. And then I had a friend who helped me convert the file and create the cover designs. But beyond that, I did, I was integral in every step in that process. So it just take some intentionality and some time. That's
for sure. I'm sure I see, in my mind's eye, I see an audiobook coming up.
Do you have any experience in that? I hear that you have to use a certain sort of file. I've been trying to read up on that between all the other things that I'm doing, but I would love to have that as a part of the suite of, products that go along with the book.
And we're just getting started. Be sure to listen in for the rest of the interview in the upcoming episodes. And do check the show notes for more info on how to best listen and subscribe to Appointment, as well as links to where you can learn more about Dr. Thomas, Plum Health, and his book titled Direct Primary Care, The Cure for Our Broken Healthcare System. See you next time.